Hi all, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so all of you are well in time.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good morning.
Good. Good morning, bachcho. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Rishabh. How are you?
Good
आज
morning, ma'am.
CRERs को मिलना है मेरे से probably.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right? चलो मैं मिलते हैं. I mean, I'm here on the line.
Okay, ma'am.
I'll be visible once it starts.
Okay.
Good morning, Ritu ma'am. Good morning, Abha ma'am.
Good morning. Hi, Ritu. Are you there? Ritu ma'am is there?
Ma'am, actually, this is the actual. Yes, ma'am. Ritu ma'am
I
is-
can't see. Let me just see. Yeah, she's there. ठीक है, maybe she's here and there waiting for coordinating. So my class, Anubhav, Pradyut, please see कि कौन-कौन join कर चुका है.
Okay.
Timely join कर रहा है, नहीं कर रहा है. तुम्हारी अब 15 तारीख आज हो गई है. Cumulative report बननी है. So we'll discuss in the evening.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay बच्चे, okay, okay.
Hi, am I audible?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi Ritu ma'am. Can you hear?
Good morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
Mr. Bhaskar.
Hi, morning.
Ma'am, so
Very
shall
good
I
morning.
start?
sir.
Good morning, Mr. Bhaskar.
Morning, morning.
You're not audible, I guess.
Me, I'm not audible.
No, ma'am. We can hear
Ma'am,
you.
you are audible, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are.
Thanks.
Clear and loud.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So, shall I start this event? Yeah.
Please.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to NDIM guest lecture session with a vision of creating a stage for interaction that would lead to a holistic development. NDIM hosts these kind of informative sessions. So firstly, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude towards NDIM Established in 1992, NDIM is the first and the only MBA school of India declared best for industry linkages, placement environment, and employability by AICTE, Government of India, CII, SOGEM, and FICCI. NDIM has been only one of the two PGDM institutes chosen by the Government of India for MBA in Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Venture Development, and is the only MBA institute having an incubation center of SOGEM at its campus, and chosen by Government of India for Smart India Hackathon every year for the last 5 years due to its high credibility in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, business analytics, and digital marketing. NDIM is the first institute in India to set up an independent women incubation center, Womenerator, in partnership with the industry. For further proceedings, I would like to invite my co-host Shreya to introduce our guests to our friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Anubhav. So today our guest of honor is Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar. Mr. Majumdar is working with Agace India as a head corporate affairs, communication and digital. He had earlier worked with Reliance Industry as a general manager, corporate communication. He had earlier worked with and has also worked with ESPN, Star Sports as a manager, corporate communication, and has also worked with reputed communication agencies like Genesis PR, Vaishnav Corporate Communication, APCO Worldwide, and Adfactors PR. Mr. Majumdar is a strategic communication professional with more than 2 decades of experience in strategic cooperation, communication, crisis communication, issue management, public policy, brand building, CSR, social media outreach, and content creation. He is a strategic planner with experience in managing multiple projects and campaigns under tight deadlines spread across geographies and time zones. He has ability to understand business objective, map out the relevant target audience, planning strategic communication campaigns which fits the business objective. Mr. Bhaskar has n numbers of awards and forum participation. He's been regularly contributing to articles in edgully.com, exchange4media.com, reputationtoday.com, agencyreporters.com, PROPOI blogs, and Aggies blog. He has also been quoted into Times of India, Exchange for Media, and other media outlets on COVID and Union Budget 2021 India. Mr. Majumdar was also the part of jury of Indian PR and Corporate Communication Conference and Award 2021 by eForum. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Ritu Talwar ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. We are looking forward for happy learning from Mr. Bhaskar. Me and Abha ma'am would like to invite you to the podium. Thank you. You can start, sir.
Should I? Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks Shreya for an awesome introduction. Thanks Anubhav. And thanks everyone in the panel and other students to, taking out time to take the session. First of all, let me clarify, I'm not a regular teacher. I mean, whatever I've learned over the years, and I think still I'm learning. I mean, especially with COVID time, things have completely changed, be it advertising, be it PR, be it, events, be it any kind of business environment. I think it's completely changed after COVID time. To start with, I will just request everyone that, as this is not like a class, it's more of a session. I'll request everyone to participate more, ask questions, because, as I said that I'm not a regular teacher, so my line of discussion may not be on the right track, and I would love everyone to, ask questions so that, I can answer them at best to my ability, and maybe that can help in your career and in your learning. So to start with, I mean, I'm sure that you guys know how advertising agencies or world works, but still I'll give you a small preview. Journey in a ad agency, starting from smaller to a bigger one, they are either the banner of a WPP or some other agency. And the most critical part of any ad agency starts with the business development team, because I mean, they are actually the people who are bringing the bread and butter for the agency. And along with the business development team, the creative team, the content team, the research team, they work very closely for different pitches. Media buying and media planning comes the next stage. I mean, they're also as critical as creative or copy is, because creating a good creative with good copy will actually get wasted if it's not been, if it doesn't get the right platform and the right medium to reach out to the target audience. So in general, that is how an ad agency works. Generally, the initial stage is the servicing guys who generally speak with the clients and take their brief, and depending on that kind of brief, the brief has been given to the clients. The client servicing guys, they give the brief to the creative guy and the copy guy. Basis the nature of business, the campaign focus. It actually depends on what kind of company it is. A B2B company will have a different requirement. A B2C company will have a different requirement. A FMCG company will have a different requirement. So depending on the requirement and the kind of target audience, and also the timing also matters a lot. I mean, during the festive time, the campaign focus will be very different. During dull time, the campaign focus will be very different. There are a lot of companies who are B2C companies and listed companies who are not into products, they are more into services. They generally, choose to have their ad campaigns or any kind of campaign focused during the budget time. That's completely different from a FMCG company or a auto company, which is more focused on their products. So that's how a ad agency works. And when it comes to media buying, I think media buying, goes hand in hand with media planning. So media planning team generally has a research team which generally researches on behalf of the client, and obviously on the basis of the requirement of the client, depending on the kind of products or services, the media planning team, they choose what kind of media platforms the creatives will go. Depending on that media planning, finalized media planning focus, the media buying guys or the media buying team, they generally get in touch with various media outlets. Now the media outlets can be very different. I mean, before COVID time, the traditional media used to be the main focus for any kind of campaign. And when I say traditional media, it's more of electronic, print, radio. Digital used to be digital, online, or social used to be very minuscule part, although it used to be there. But thanks to COVID, the situation has completely changed, and the campaign focus for almost every brand has now become much more different than it used to be earlier. Now the digital part or the online part or the social part, it has become much more bigger, almost say 30 to 40% of the total pie. And the rest of it, when I say digital has grown, I'll not take away anything from the traditional media. Print and electronic and radio has as much relevance as they used to have earlier. But I think when it comes to platforms reaching out to target audience, it has bit changed. Now the focus is more of online, digital, a website, bloggers. So I still remember a few months back I was interacting with a media buying team of I'll not name the agency, and when I asked that can you curate something for me for a specific place, specific city, and specific target audience, they said yes, and for that we will be using microbloggers. Now 1.5 years back or 2 years back, no one have actually heard of microbloggers. Bloggers are they have come into existence I think 4 to 5 years back, and now again there is a sudden change and there is a paradigm shift from blogging. It has become microblogging. So if you want to have a product to be seen in a city of Nagpur, targeting to a specific age group, it's possible now. And also I think the changes which has happened in COVID time has happened for good, or there are both sides of it, especially with digital or social. Whenever you're doing any kind of campaign and you're trying to product a particular service or a brand or a product, I think the interaction and the engagement with the end audience is more real time. So the feedback is much more real time than earlier. Because earlier, whenever there used to be a print ad, there used to be always a dilemma that it has reached the target audience or not, and what kind of feedback or what kind of impact it has made. There used to be always dilemma, although there are a lot of multiple ways to understand the impact of a particular print ad, but no one can actually say that it's 100% true. But with digital, with social media, the target audience is right there. They can always say review, they say good things, they can say bad things. So it's a double-edged sword. So the engagement has become more real time, as well as it has its benefits and its merits and demerits also. Now, when it comes to media buying, I think one of the major aspects for media buying is also research. I'll just give you an example. I'm talking about a reputed chain of restaurants which came into India almost 1.5 decades back. Now they choose a traditional ad agency and the traditional ad agency's media buying house. They just try to shortlist 2 or 3 major publication houses depending on their circulation and readership in a particular place in Punjab. Now after almost 6 months of campaign in print, electronic, mainly it was print. The company or the brand understood that the kind of impact they are actually looking at, it should result in some time of sales growth has not happened. So they hired a second agency just to evaluate, and the second agency was more of a research agency, which is known in the industry to dig out certain facts which may have got overlooked by either by the brand or the other agencies. So there was this very interesting fact which came out that in terms of readership and in terms of circulation, the media buying house has they have shortlisted 2 publication houses in that particular area, but fortunately, unfortunately, those two publications houses, their readership is more of Hindu vegetarian food eaters. So now for a non-veg or a restaurant which is serving fried chicken, the target audience was not right. Now here comes the research team, which actually comes and works hand to hand with the media buying team or any media planning team to understand that if that particular spot or if that particular ad space is adequate and if it's actually going to bring some kind of impact to the client's brand or its products or its services. Now I'll just open up the floor just to understand that from the students. I'm sure that you guys must have read about media planning and media buying. So what according to you is the right kind of definition? And to be very frank, I'm not asking any kind of bookish definition. Anything which you understand from your reading or through going through ads or going through projects. So can I request someone who can actually give me some examples or understanding of what media buying is and what media planning is? Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, whatever you think is the right definition for media buying or media planning is, you can just tell me and we can again have a discussion on that. I have just shared my view on how a agency works, how media planning happens, how media buying happens. Just now wanted to understand your understanding on that so that you can discuss it further.
Sir, newspaper ad.
Yeah, that's newspaper ad is just part of one minuscule part of media buying. As I said that media planning team, they actually plan a particular campaign, and depending on the campaign focus, the media buying team, they actually buy spots either in radio or in television or in print, and obviously nowadays in social media, banners or digital platforms like website, blogs, microbloggers. So print will be just part of it. I'm just saying holistically, what do you think that what exactly the media buying agency's role should be?
Sir, I guess that media planning means like it's more of a how and where to do such kind of advertisement. Like if I am advertising, if I am advertising a premium product, so that has to be in where the size of the pocket size of the people are humongous, targeting to a more of a metropolitan cities.
Exactly. Can you give me one example, any product, any service, so that it's much more clear?
Much more clear than we can say.
So I will give you an example. Suppose
if I take an example of a premium car segment, so let's just take an example of Volvo. So there is no point of advertising that in a rural states of Bihar or in Jharkhand type of area. So the advertisement can be more focused upon demographically. We can bifurcate it and rather focus it on more of a metropolitan cities or rather than this thing. And media buying. Media buying can be the if being an advertiser from Volvo, I find advertising it on a television ad or in a YouTube ad be more fruitful than rarely advertising in radio or than newspaper.
Right. You're very close. So a media planning team with their research team will actually try to understand, depending on the as I said, the product or services, and depending on the brand, that what is the right media platform they should be in, when they should be in, and how many times they should be in. So if there is a FMCG brand, say Colgate, Colgate will choose vernacular media or regional media as well as mainline media, but they will not go to the business pages, or they may go to weekend supplements. Now for a financial client or maybe a bank, it remains the same. Now the media buying house will actually negotiate with various publication houses or electronic channels to pick up spots which are relevant, or those spots or those time brands where the target audience of that particular brand is actually watching. So case in point, a cement company may not give advertisement in a particular newspaper in the particular day or in a particular spot where a Colgate may advertise. Right. Now, again, coming back to what you said when it comes to a luxury brand. Now, there is a misperception that a luxury brand has to advertise in mainline newspapers, financial newspapers. That is where the research team, they jumps in. So a city like Nagpur or a city like Ludhiana is so cash rich. The highest number of Mercedes is in Ludhiana. The highest number of BMWs actually got sold in Nagpur. So cities like this also has the buying power, and there is a pattern which the research team generally they check it out for say 2 years or 3 years. What is the kind of behavior of the customer, how the pattern is evolving, how that particular city or that particular place has evolved in over the years. So maybe a Mercedes. I mean, I still remember I used to handle Mercedes as a client of mine, and the first road show happened in Delhi, which was the launch, and the second road show actually happened in Ludhiana. So the brand also has to understand, and the agencies involved, starting from creative to copy to media planning to media buying, that where exactly the stakeholders or the target audience is based out of. Now for radio electronic, it becomes much more easier because their reach is very different and it's much more wider. And now with online, digital, YouTube, blogging, social media platforms, it has become much more wider. Now again, coming back to this thing, especially for a brand which is more into automotive, like a two-wheeler brand, maybe taking example of TVS. So if TVS is taking out a new bike, which is in the brand of say 1 lakh to 1,50,000, and which is 150cc, where exactly their ad should be placed in a newspaper, especially in Delhi? Wild guesses will do. Hello.
Sir, could you please repeat your question?
So
I just said, just to take an example, let's take an example of a brand like TVS Motors, which is into two-wheeler manufacturing. If they're if they're launching a new bike which is in the band of say 1 lakh to 1,50,000 and which is 125cc, and the target audience is more of young generation, then what kind of newspaper they will generally look for to place their ads? And as I said, wild guesses will do.
Sir, first they need to conduct a market research on the basis of demographics.
Perfect. Yeah, go on.
And sir, afterwards they need to gauge the income level of the consumer.
Income level of the buyer.
Yes, sir.
I understood. You're bang on. I'm just saying that what should be the preferred choice of print media, where the media buying house of TVS Motor should
magazines.
Regular newspapers, sir?
Yeah, regular newspapers and any
social media.
Social media is a completely different ballgame. I'm just talking about print media, and
they can use pamphlet also, sir.
So I'll give you an example there. Pamphlets are generally used by dealership, not by bigger brands, unless the product is such like a 1 rupee sachet of shampoo may merit leaflets in newspaper, but bigger brands generally will not go for leaflets in the newspaper because that generally dilutes their brand. But again, as I said, it depends on the product. And leaflets are generally used by dealers or big shops. But when it comes to, product placement, as someone rightly said, a research team or a secondary research has to be done. In general, they generally try to, if it's focused on, colleges or schools, the brand always tries to, time it during the new admission, like, when the new batch of students actually come into the school, the college. They generally try to time it during that time, and then they can plan for road shows, and they generally go for all this college fest, college, the fashion shows, and they generally have a tie-up with either a Delhi Times or a ST City, because the reach, as I said, the product is in between 1 to 150, so that buying capacity has to be also there. And in that particular buying capacity, along with that age group and along with Delhi being a city, generally the right mix is a Delhi Times and a ST City. And the timeline for that particular campaign is also not a huge long one, like a 6 month was, generally is 15 days to 2 months, because that is the only time when you can actually have that, eyeball or, that kind of reach or awareness which can be created. But again, this is what I was talking about in print is, but when it comes to electronic, it becomes very difficult and very different. Like, I'll give you example. When I was with ESPN Start Sports, and I was part of the corporate communication team, which was managing the branding also, and we're helping the brand activation team. And with the brand activation team, we're also working with the media buying house, which was part of JWT. Now, over there, I understood two things. That, the layman's idea is that, whoever comes and pays you the maximum for a particular spot. My personal understanding was that generally the brand or the media buying house sells that particular spot to the highest bidder. But during that time, and the product was FIFA 2006, which was like, FIFA happens after every 2 years. So my media buying guys or my media buying professionals working along with me, they said that you will not buy in a spot as a standalone spot. So we would like to, sell spots with a bulk selling. Like, if there are 64 matches and if every match, they're I mean, on an average, there are always 40 to 50, spots, depending on the kind of advertisement it is. It can start from 12 seconds to almost, 60 seconds, maybe 1 minute, 20 seconds. So they said that, whenever we are doing any kind of activity or any kind of sporting event, where there are multiple, matches which is going to happen, and after multiple matches, there will be quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. So we generally reserves our time slots for the final and the semi-finals, because if by chance India or any team which is favorite in that particular tournament reaches in the semi-finals or quarterfinals, the ad spots will go sky high. And for the other spots, they generally sell it at a bulk rate. That is to do two things. One, they don't want unknown brands or brands which doesn't have a sync with the channel to come and advertise, right? So if they are asking for a bulk sale, then smaller brands or brands which are not of that repute will not be able to have the entire bouquet. So they will prefer to have a Coke or a Pepsi or a Adidas or maybe Audi to buy 40 spots together, which is a huge sum of money, instead of going to individual companies which may be paying almost double or triple than a Coke or a Pepsi for a single ad. I hope I'm clear. I mean, if there is a question, I will be ready to answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in advertising in electronic channels generally happen in bulk, especially when it comes to a particular product and a particular brand. So whenever you see that there are multiple Coke or Pepsi ads which are coming into multiple newspapers, generally the ad spots have been taken over for almost a year. It's not, unless there is a new product which is introduced and there is a specific time slot fixed for it, and the media buying professionals are buying that particular spot. Otherwise, big brands generally for print as well as for electronic, they generally go for bulk buying, which is for an annual contract. And that is where the media buying houses also negotiate with the media platform. So suppose if Coke is ready to give, say 20 ads to Times of India, say in a span of 1 year. Now the media professionals, media buying professionals work will be to negotiate with the publication house to get the best spot at the best place at the best day. So suppose if it's Holi, so before Holi, the media buying house of Coke will try to pick up as much spots as they can for almost a week going towards Holi. Whereas for a automobile brand, that may not be that regular. It can happen with a with a gap of say 1 week to 15 days, depending on the kind of product it's they're trying to promote and also the availability of the product. So electronic and print works almost as in the same way. They always prefer to have bulk dealing with different brands, and that is where the media buying houses they come and negotiate for the best price, best spot, and for the right date. I hope I'm clear, and I'll be happy to answer any particular question if you have. So I mean, yeah. So as I said earlier during my starting of my session that due to COVID, the media buying space or media buying pattern has changed completely with the digital media, social media, and online media coming into prominence and taking the larger pie of the advertising revenue. Now, when it comes to especially digital and social media spots or website spots, these are much more at a lower rate compared to a traditional media spot, which is more of print or say a electronic channel. So, for an example, I'm not putting the right numbers, but I'm just giving you an example that a particular advertisement in Delhi Times in a particular day, not over weekend, may cost, depending on the CC wise measurement, may cost anything in between 8 to 10 lakhs. Whereas on the same day, in the morning or throughout the day, a ad banner in Delhi Times online may cost something in between 50,000 to 1 lakh. So that much of difference is there. So also with digital and social media coming into prominence, the work for a media buying professional has increased multifold. Because earlier, if the client has a budget of say 1 crore, which is actually a very less budget, but just for the sake of having a discussion, if the client's budget is 1 crore, now buying spots for 7 to 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs and utilizing that particular budget becomes much more easier for the media buying house to do. But when it comes to if the client insists that I need particular banner space in economictimes.com or dailytimes.com, maybe jagran.com, now the costing for those spots are much lower than the traditional one. Now imagine a person who has to buy 50,000 banner spot, and he has to reach a target of say 8 to 10 lakhs the spend. There will be multiple banner spots. Now here comes a research team which has to research aggressively and to understand that at what time that particular platform has got the maximum traffic and what type of nature of people who are actually coming to that particular website. So the work for a media buying house or the media planner in one word has become multifold with this COVID thing. Now I'm just throwing you an example to you guys. During the lockdown time, I'm sure everyone were unfortunately got stuck in their own house, and the availability of the newspaper was not there. So I'm sure that you guys must have gone to multiple websites, and your social media usage must have gone almost 50% of what it used to be, isn't it?
Yes.
So during your time spent on social media as well as various websites, have you seen that there is a huge increase of banner spots, ads in all social media? And yeah,
Basically, advertisement in the websites on the social digital site was too
Yeah.
much increased in the duration of the pandemic.
Yes. See, it was very simple that you're not been able to go to office, you're not been able to take your regular classes, and the time is plenty at hand, and suddenly we realize that staying at home for 24 hours for almost 3 to 4 months is something which we have never imagined. And the usage of internet and availability of internet and also the sale of smartphones has helped every consumer to, to search for any kind of product or search for any kind of news or watch whatever what they want to. Now there lies the challenge, or also the, I'll not say only challenge, is also the spot where the media buying people and media planners, they have to capitalize on. As I said earlier, if you remember that, 6-7 months back or maybe 1 year back, whenever you used to search for any particular news, either in Rediff or say India Times or any website, or maybe going to LinkedIn, or maybe checking out a particular piece of news in Facebook, the ad space or the ad number of ads used to be very less. Now in last 4 to 5 months of time, it has increased multifold. Now if you go to Facebook and if there is a particular ad, say it's showcasing or it's talking about a particular shoe, by any chance if you click that particular say ad banner, for the next almost 1 week you will get all kind of ads in your homepage. Or say if you have searched for a particular product, maybe say a mobile phone in Google, and after 15-20 minutes or half an hour, if you have opened up your Facebook, suddenly you will see there are multiple ads of mobile phones in your Facebook page. So now things have changed. Earlier, buying a spot or media buying especially used to be very related to human dealing. Now it has become much more intelligent and integrated with AI. Now there are systems and there are processes which have been adopted by multiple agencies, and that's how they get to know that if a particular person or if a particular customer is searching for a particular product, and if you have searched for a couple of times and the time duration which you have spent on searching that particular product or service is X, then they realize that this can be a possible customer. And suddenly, as all our information is all over the net, we have our Facebook data is with Facebook, our Twitter data which is with everyone, and all these data are given to ad agencies to explore possibility of reaching out to the target audience. So the media buying and the media planning team will actually understand that this can be a possible buyer, and suddenly in all social media platforms, be it Twitter, not in Twitter much, but Facebook and LinkedIn, you will see multiple advertisement almost related to what you have actually searched for. Have you seen this thing? Have you gone through this kind of experience?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
have.
So this is the new age of advertising which is coming into prominence. When I joined my first job, which was the ad agency, it was way back in '97. Since '97 till 2005, 2008 used to be a different era. Then digital media came into prominence. Electronic media got into bigger platform from only Doordarshan. There were Z and other international channels. So the evolution of advertising, especially with media planning and media buying as well as creative, has seen a sea change in last 10 to 12 years. But during COVID time, they have seen a paradigm shift. Because now no longer, I coming from my experience, fortunately, unfortunately, for my profession, I generally read almost 8 to 9 newspapers every day in the morning. But during the lockdown time, I didn't have the option of having so many newspapers at home, because the guy who was delivering it was not allowed to come inside my society. So I had to rely on the websites or the PDFs of the newspapers. And in 3 to 4 months of time, also someone at my age has quite adapted to that particular platform also. Now here comes the challenge for a media planner as well as a media buying house professional. That it's a sudden change. In ideal condition, if COVID wouldn't have happened, maybe this progression would have happened in 4 to 5 years of time. And the kind of the media influx we're seeing, the kind of data we are seeing, the kind of digital or social media usage you have seen, maybe in normal course of time, we may have seen it in year 2024 or 2025. But thanks to COVID, things have got fast forwarded, and the scenario has changed completely. And as I said that, in any media buying, campaign or any media planners campaign, now the social or the digital parts takes the larger pie, and it's almost 35% to 40% of the total pie. Earlier, it is to be the print media, which is to be the largest share, then it's to be electronic, then a minuscule part of radio, and maybe 10 to 12% or 15% max in online or digital. But again, that depends on product to product and company to company. As I said, a B2B company may have a completely different requirement because they are not selling a particular product and they are working in a regulated environment, and their needs and their stakeholders will be very different. Like for example, the company I work with is a engineering company, and 100% of our clients are government. So for me, maybe a electronic media outreach to reach out to my client may not be the perfect way to go. Even in print, maybe barring Times of India, Hindustan Times, the other newspapers may not be very relevant. Digital may not be relevant at all. So mine will be more of trade magazine. Mine will be more of Times of India, Hindustan Times, maybe Economic Times or Business Standard for any specific particular campaign. Our focus is more into CSR. So when it comes to CSR, a ad spot or maybe advertorial in a magazine as well as Delhi Times or STCT will be much relevant. But when it comes to an auto company or a FMCG company, their requirement will be completely different. Their spend will be more of digital and social and bloggers and YouTubers. Then comes the print ad, and then comes the electronic ad. Case in point, you guys, I'm sure that everyone is using a mobile, and with the sudden influx of so many Chinese mobile handsets, which are good or bad is something debatable, but their offerings or specifications are almost equivalent to a bigger brand like a Samsung or a Apple. Now for this, especially for these Chinese companies, their preference of spending their money, ad revenue, is more focused on YouTubers and on online reviewers rather than spending the money on a Times of India, which would be a huge costing altogether. So as I said, that depending on brand to brand and depending on the focus and also the target audience, like the Chinese companies, their target audience is mostly the school-going students, college students with a limited budget, but they want to experience multiple specs as a Samsung or a Apple may be offering, and which are much more higher or costlier. So to target and to engage a college student or a school student who may not be very much comfortable reading Economic Times or Times of India, but browses through multiple YouTubers, multiple reviewers online. Like Tech Guruji is someone, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Tech Guruji. Has anyone heard of Tech Guruji?
Technical
Yes,
Guruji,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So Technical Guruji Technical Guruji is someone who is like the top two YouTubers when it comes to gadgets, especially handset manufacturing companies, or anyone at your age if they want to buy a mobile. Maybe 50% chances are there that you'll go and watch Technical Guruji to understand the product and the pros and cons of that particular product, and you may not go to a Delhi Times to read the profile. So especially with the Chinese companies or the low cost handset manufacturers, they prefer to spend their money, almost 50 to 60% of them, on digital platforms only. That doesn't mean that they will not give the mobile for a review to a newspaper, or they will not give ad to a newspaper, but that percentage of spend has gone down drastically. Hello? Hello, yeah? Someone asked anything?
Sir, actually, by mistake, someone mic was unmuted.
No issue.
Excuse us.
So I hope till now, whatever I've said, you guys have been able to relate to it, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions.
So I
Yeah, go on.
Sir, actually, I just want to know one thing, that there is a thing that we have to also put in our mind, that which time we have to roll our ad.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any concept that how can we understand that which is a perfect thing, which is a perfect time for the roll the ad over the digital media or the television, radio, anything else?
So I'll give you an example. There are different research teams which generally do multiple research. So the perfect combination can be, see, it actually depends on the product. Suppose it says if it's a product which is a more family oriented, maybe a TV or maybe a bike, generally the companies, they generally launch their ad campaign during the festive seasons, like during Diwali or year end. And obviously there are certain times when they don't advertise at all. So depending on the particular product, the time frame in the calendar year is generally been fixed. But this scenario or this thought of picking up the right time and the right place has changed a lot with digital and social. Now, as I said earlier, a spot in Delhi Times for maybe only Delhi edition for a particular CC column may cost something around 8 to 10 lakhs. Now, a similar kind of ad in delhitimes.com may cost you something around 50,000 to 1 lakh, depending on the negotiation by the media buying house. So it's a huge difference. And when there is a difference, then this time frame where I know you have to place your ad actually goes for a toss. Because if you're taking out a product and you want to target just before Holi or just before say Diwali, now because of the costing of that particular spot, you may not be buying multiple spots. I'm sure, you'll be buying spots in double digits, but not multiple spots. But because of this digital or social media emerging as one of the better platforms to reach out to a particular set of target audience, the timing has actually, now it's a very thin line. People may say that, I will start my campaign just 15 days before Diwali for a print ad or electronic ad. The same person will say that, for my digital campaign just started before 3 months before Diwali. So as I said, as you rightly asked, the timing is very critical, and it's one of the important aspects for any kind of campaign focus. But again, depending on the product services, it actually decides that when one should start. And as I said, then print and electronic may be more cautious on spending on ads before any festive season with a specific timing. But at a digital or a social media outreach may not think that much, and it can continue for almost 3 to 6 months. It may continue for the entire year. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is there anything I can help out with? As I said that I am not a regular teacher, and whatever I'm going to share and discuss is coming out of my experience of last 23 years. And it's a mixed bag of advertising, corporate communication, corporate affairs, and PR agencies.
Sir,
So,
I think experience can help a lot in side by side the theoretical knowledge.
Exactly. You just said the right thing. Trust me, whatever you guys study, and when you actually land up in your first job, things change drastically, right? Especially for PR and advertising, it's like, people generally look up to that, I will go to a very vibrant environment, there will be a lot of fun, and, work may not be that much tough. But when you actually work in a agency starting with an ad agency or a PR agency, things change, and I'm sure that, you will also realize in your due course of time in life that, the learning which you get from different organizations while working over their own campaigns, or also dealing with clients, or also working with creative guys or the copy guys, is much more higher than what you generally read in your curriculum books or projects or other things which you do, because that's a completely different atmosphere altogether. Anything else anyone would like to ask, so that I'll be in a better position to help out with?
Sir, I have a question. Like while targeting urban India, we have more of a contemporary approach by targeting it via social media influencers, by YouTubers, by more of it, making it cut down to the target segment of 25 and age bracket of 25, 21 to 60, like that kind of a segment we are targeting in urban India.
Yeah.
But what are the challenges faced by this PR agency or by ad agencies while targeting to a rural India? Because in India, most of the population lie in the rural, like 70% of the population is still there in the rural area as compared to the 30% of the population or the 25% of the population that we have in the urban area.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the target points of the things would be totally different, or it's
Yes.
a similar kind of approach.
So, you have asked a very good questions, and somehow you've just, helped me out to remember one thing and add on another thing. When it comes to advertising, till now, whatever we have discussed is print ad, television ad, radio ad, and social media and digital. Now, a large chunk of advertising also lies on ground activation. So every ad agency or every client side will have an activation team. Now, when I say activation team, these are people who actually are engaged into, engaging the local dealers or local touch points to reach out to the rural team. Now, when I say rural team, like a city and say in a tier T city in Lucknow, as you rightly said, they may not be reading a Delhi Times or may not be even Jagran also. And unfortunately, the internet penetration is yet to happen in rural India, although it has already reached a quite a milestone. But many more years to come that to get 100% connectivity in rural India, and also the affordability of smartphones has also put a hindrance to digital and social reach to rural India. So when one has to reach out to rural India, they generally depend on multiple road shows, multiple nukkad nataks, and the ad spend is more on creating or curating different road shows depending on a specific city, a specific state, and also there is a huge amount of money which has been spent on say posters, danglers. So if you're traveling to say a rural side of any country, especially in India, you'll see there will be a lot of wall paintings. Like the cement, take any cement company, instead of spending a huge amount of money on say a TV spot, they decided to spend a lot of money on painting the buildings or painting the houses on the sides to put their ads on. Right. So rural outreach and urban outreach has a completely different connotation altogether, and there are different ways to reach out to. And as you said, rural India is very important for almost every product now, especially to FMCG or auto company. And as I said, that the focus over there or the spend over there will be more on conducting road shows, or more be on posters, danglers, banners, Pashtu shelters. So there are multiple ways to reach out to that particular target audience. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Is there anything else you want to know? But see, that is something. I mean, if you continue discussion on this, especially rural India, and when it comes to ground activation, it's a huge subject. I mean, it will require at least 3 to 4 hours to touch 5% of it. But as I said, that there are different ways of advertising. Advertising as a subject is a huge subject, and print advertising or electronic advertising or radio spots or maybe social media outreach or digital outreach is just a part of it. May not be a minuscule part, maybe a largest part, but still it's a part of it. There is a lot of other things to reach out to your target audience.
Thank you, sir.
So is there anything else I can add on? Is there anything else I can speak on? As I know in last 3 questions, I've been able to touch upon things which I was not been able to discuss earlier. So I'm happy that you guys are asking questions, and would be more happy if you can ask more questions, and I'll try to answer them to my best ability.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, what is today? What is kind of the like advertising spend split among digital activation and outdoor or print?
See, it's a very difficult question because it entirely depends on what type of brand you're handling. As I said earlier, a B2B company may have different requirement. A B2C company have a different requirement. In B2C company, also FMCG company or auto company may have different requirements. Now, depending on that requirements and the kind of target audience they're targeting at, there are always budgets which have been fixed. And again, as I said that, the nature of campaign focus depends on what kind of, the right mix will be. For the auto company, maybe 30% of 35% of the spend will be on digital and YouTubers only. And very small portion will be there on radio, or maybe there is no radio at all. The next chunk will be, print media and trade magazines, and the third will be electronic media. So it depends on, product to product, and also the campaign focus, what exactly it is. For the same campaign, as suppose if Maruti is taking out an ad which is more of a product launch, the kind of ideal combination can be 30-35%, social and digital, say 10 to 12% or 20% of print, maybe 15 to 20% of electronic, rest 10 to 15% of activation, and if there is any budget left and if there is a requirement, then blue radio. But if the same company is taking out their corporate campaign or corporate ads out, the scenario or the this percentage of spend on different platforms will become very different. Then they will be heavily relying on electronic and print first, and then maybe social, and again activation will not be required over there at the first stage. And also there is another thing I would like to point out too, that for any campaign there are different phases, and depending on those phases, this ad spends are also been spent. So whenever you are seeing any ad, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, whenever there is a new product ad which is coming into TV, you will see that the product ad is of at least 1.5 minutes to 1 minute to 20 seconds. And in 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time, maybe 1 month of time, the same ad has been reduced to say 60 seconds. And again, after 1.5 months time, that same ad has been reduced to 20 seconds. So it also depends on how the budgeting has been done. And as I said that, all campaigns and campaign focus depends on, different phases. Is there anything else I can answer on? So I'll just recap whatever I said, that media buying goes hand in hand with media planning, and media planning depends a lot on research and the kind of product or services the brand is offering, and also the nature of services they offer, and also depends on the target audience they're targeting on. Depending on that and depending on the budget, the campaign planners plan the campaign, and basis that the media buying houses, they buy different spots in either print or electronic or radio and digital or social. They also plan how to go ahead with road shows, ground activation, what kind of danglers, what kind of posters is required, what kind of hoarding is required. So that is the third or fourth phase. And after that, there is an activation team also which actually activates the ground activation work. So in a whole, it's in a nutshell, that is how it works. But as I said that, advertising and especially campaign focus or say media planning or media buying is a huge subject, and will require almost 2 to 3 hours to have just to touch upon 5% of it. But it's good that you guys have asked me so many questions, and it's been really engaging. Look forward to many more sessions like this. And I would be happy to answer any further question if there is. You can drop me an email, and I'm sure Ritu ma'am will have my email ID. And if there is any other requirement, any kind of presentation you require to understand it better, I can always share it with Ritu ma'am, and she can pass it on to you guys.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. A sincere thank you for the sea of wisdom and knowledge you showered us with during your amazing lecture. It was outstanding. You have put your heart and soul into the lecture. It was an interactive lecture. Students were enjoying. They were asking questions. Over to Anubhav now.
Yeah, so finally, I would like to thank to our honorable speaker. It was indeed an honor to have you here with us today. We are indebted for the knowledge and experiences you shared with us. So thanks a
Thanks.
lot.
Pleasure is mine. You know what? I mean, whenever I have this kind of sessions, trust me, rather than giving out something, I always take out few things with me. As I said, for me, uh, every age is a learning age. So I'm still trying to accumulate as much knowledge as I can.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhaskar. Thank you. It's been
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
an enriching experience for all of us. And let's look forward for more, knowledge.
Perfect, ma'am. Thanks a lot for having me over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.